The San Francisco housing market is exhibiting signs of a healthy recovery, and the Silicon Valley housing market has never been hotter. Will this San Francisco housing market recovery add more fuel to the San Francisco Bay Area housing market fire? Coming up on this week's Silicon Valley Snapshot. The San Francisco housing market has been in absolute shambles for the last 18 to 24 months, but we're starting to see signs of a healthy recovery in the San Francisco housing market. And consequently, I'm starting to ask myself, what does this mean for the rest of the Bay Area? Because for the last 18 months, and really for the last 8 or 9 months, the San Francisco Bay Area has been on absolute fire. And what we want to know at this point is, will the trickle-down effect that we typically see from the San Francisco housing market into the rest of the Bay Area add more fuel to this already incredibly white-hot market? For those of you who are new to the channel, my name is Danny Gould. I'm the CEO of the Selling Silicon Valley Group, and we help people buy and sell homes here in the San Francisco Bay Area. We are literally at this point getting dozens of phone calls, text messages from these videos. So if you're thinking about buying, selling, or investing anywhere in the San Francisco Bay Area, my team is able to help. You can reach out to us at the number down below. So let's get started with Santa Clara County. The numbers here in Santa Clara County are quite astonishing. I mean, when you look at what's going on right now in the pending numbers, we're at 1,795 homes pending in Santa Clara County. Look at that same number in March of last year. We had 832 homes pending. We are over double the amount of pending sales year over year. That is insane. That is insane, because even though March of last year was COVID time, we still weren't that far off from where we were in terms of active inventory. Right now, the inventory levels have stayed relatively neutral year over year, but the pending sales have doubled. That's insane. Flipping over to San Mateo County, we practically have the same story, where the pending sale numbers have doubled year over year, where the inventory levels at that same time or at the same time last year versus this year is relatively the same. We had 424 homes active in March of 2020. We have 480 homes active right now in 2021. But the pending sales have doubled, meaning that the buyer demand right now is absolutely through the roof. The narrative in so many other parts of the country is the inventory is low. And yes, that's definitely true here. But when we compare it to the same time last year, it really hasn't changed that much, which means that for us here in the San Francisco Bay Area, it is more, at this point, it has more to do with the buyer demand than it does with actual inventory levels. And after analyzing the current month-to-date data, what we're seeing here is that for the first couple of months in the year, especially in February and March, we were seeing a trajectory where inventory levels were going to surpass where they were at this same time last year. But right now in April, we're actually seeing a dip. Active inventory right now is down at 19% month to date year over year in Santa Clara County. And in San Mateo County, we're seeing a 10% dip month to date year over year. This is bad news for buyers because it means inventory's shrinking and demand has doubled. That's bad. And by the way, if you're a buyer in today's marketplace and you're looking for a comprehensive data set like this to help you with your decision making, you can text the word data plus the area, neighborhood, or zip code that you're looking in, and we will get that data set sent right over to your inbox. And if you're a home seller in today's marketplace and you're looking for a data set to help you price your property appropriately, you can text the word data plus your property address to the number down below, and we will send that data report straight to your inbox. Now let's flip over to San Benito County. San Benito County has really felt the after effects of what has been an incredibly strong Santa Clara County market. And a lot of folks that get priced out of Santa Clara County, especially in Morgan Hill, Gilroy, they start to migrate down into the Hollister area, right? And even some folks in South San Jose, Cambrian Park, Communications Hill, they end up deciding to go down there. And you get a lot of folks in the Santa Clara County, San Mateo County, Alameda, Contra Costa that are selling their $2 million plus homes, the big forever homes. Now they're downsizing. The kids are out of the house. They want to stay in the area, but they don't want to pay a mortgage on a $2 million home. They're going to go down to Hollister, buy a $600,000-$700,000 single family home. Now, what's funny is that that used to be a $400,000 to $500,000 single family home, but prices have been skyrocketing in San Benito County now for quite some time. And if you look at the data, It makes perfect sense. Why? You're seeing over a doubling. You're seeing a doubling in active pending sales right now. 72 homes pending right now versus 30 at the same time last year. We had 114 homes on the market in San Benito County in March of 2020. There are only 38 homes on the market right now in San Benito County. That is mind-blowing. That is mind-blowing. Everyone wants to know, why are prices going out of control? Well, this is the reason why. You're seeing inventory nearly 2/3, and you're seeing pending sales double. Inventory shrinking by 2/3, pending sales have doubled. That's the story right there. That's the story in San Benito County. Need I say more? Absolutely not. Let's move over to San Francisco now. And San Francisco is really the main story, the main narrative that we want to focus on today. You're finally seeing inventory levels and pending sales start to equilibrate, because for some time there, if you're looking at that graph, you're seeing how much higher inventory levels were than pending sales. And that delta was really affecting the San Francisco housing market pricing. Now we're starting to see a neutralization, a stabilization of that market. 659 homes pending, 786 homes on the market. Now, keep in mind, and I've mentioned this in previous videos too, it's not the single family market that's suffering right now in San Francisco. It is the condo, the TIC, the co-op, all of those types of properties are really being impacted right now, predominantly because of the mass exodus out of the city right now during shelter in place, during COVID, the fact that no offices are open in San Francisco right now, that's decimated the San Francisco housing market. Now, why is this happening right now? Number one, prices have softened to the point where there are people who see opportunity in the marketplace and they're buying property there. There's no doubt about it. There are opportunists right now that are seeing the housing prices soften a bit in San Francisco, and they're betting long term on that market. That's for sure. Number two, you're seeing a lot of property owners in that same position where they're now seeing light at the end of the tunnel. And that light at the end of the tunnel is causing them to pull their homes off the market, to take that inventory off. They're going to hold on to it for the next year. And they're saying, I am betting that the market is going to be better at this same time next year for San Francisco, for my house. I'm going to get a better price, a way better price on this home now, in a year than I will right now. And that bet is causing a lot of that excess inventory to come off. For a while there, everyone was like, I need to dump this place for a variety of reasons. There was a lot of cash out, no cash in. That's going to cause a lot of people to want to sell. And that did cause a lot of, especially investment property owners in San Francisco, to sell. But now we're in a position where there's light at the end of the tunnel. There's speculators, there's people going in there, they're buying property now because prices are low, and then you're seeing a lot of people pull their homes off the market, a lot of property owners pull their home off the market, speculating that there's going to be a surge in pricing, or there's going to be a better opportunity to get a higher price at a later point in time. Also, keep in mind that for so long, people who were priced out of San Francisco went to Oakland. Now it's the opposite. There are people who are getting priced out of Oakland and surrounding neighborhoods there, and they're going back to San Francisco. They're saying, hey, at this same time next year, I just got vaccinated. At this same time next year, I'm probably going to be back at work, and my work is in San Francisco. Wouldn't it be better to be in the city that I'm working in? I mean, that has definitely played a role in that slight increase in pending sales as well in the San Francisco marketplace. So all things to consider. And listen, this is an evolving situation. So we know that when things change, they change quickly. So this could very well change in the future. But if this trend continues, and we've been seeing this trend now happen for a few months, and I've been predicting this, I've been telling people, hey, this isn't going to last forever in San Francisco. You know, I know that everyone wants to play the work from home, politically correct game, but at some point in time, those companies are going to come calling, and those people are going to have to go back to San Francisco, and those employees are going to be kicking themselves right now. If you're sitting on the sidelines and you're like, man, in a year from now, you're going to be kicking yourself that you didn't buy something in the city. So definitely still opportunity there. It's not like the opportunity's gone, but if these trends continue in a positive direction, we could see prices start to climb back up in the city in very short order. Now let's flip over to Contra Costa County and Alameda County. These East Bay counties have for quite some time now been the highlight of the San Francisco Bay Area housing market. And they still are at this point. I mean, Contra Costa County, you're seeing a tripling. So there is triple the amount of homes pending than there are currently on the market right now. 597 homes active, 1,543 homes pending. That is absolutely absurd. And when you look at the March of 2020 numbers, you had 900 homes pending, and now we have 1,543. So we're getting a 1.5x number of pending sales right now, and the inventory levels have halved. Insane. Half the number of homes, 1.5x times the number of pending sales. I mean, it's simple math. It makes perfect sense. This is why the housing market is where it is today. And let's not kid ourselves. In March and April of last year, it's not like housing prices took a huge dip. So when you look at what was going on back then, 1,000 homes for sale, 900 homes pending. That was a healthy market. It was a very healthy market. For us to get back to that level, the number of homes on the market would have to double. There would have to be twice as many people saying, I want to sell. And you'd have to have 33% less buyers say, I don't want to buy a home anymore. That's where we need to get. That's where we need to be to get to where we were in March of 2020, which was a good market, which was a really good market for home sale. It wasn't a bad market still. Homes were still selling. The market was stable. It was still a decent market to sell. And so what I'm trying to reinforce here is this concept of anyone who's thinking that the market is going to dip right now or is going to crash. Think about what needs to happen to supply and demand in some of these marketplaces for us to even get to a place where we're stable, not even down, not even in the negative, not even in the red, but for us to just be like in a very like stable holding pattern. Think about that, because right now there are a lot of fearmongers out there. But when we look at these numbers, when we look at these graphs, it's like, where is the excess inventory and the drop in demand coming from? Number one. And when that does happen, right, because it will it even be as drastic as what I just threw out there, which is a doubling in inventory and a third of the buyers gone? That's going to be hard to do. Flipping over to Alameda County, 657 homes on the market right now, 1,400 homes pending. We have over double the amount of homes pending right now than we do homes active on the market. And when you look at March of last year, same number, the exact same number of homes on the market. Inventory levels are the exact same. And when you look at pending sales, 804. So we basically have 1.75x the number of homes pending right now and the same number of homes on the market. That is consistent with what we've seen in so many other parts of the San Francisco Bay Area market. And really, the East Bay, Alameda County, Contra Costa County, they are really the beneficiaries of the San Francisco housing market softening. So in my previous example, case in point, the Oakland housing market being, the refuge for what was once a very hostile San Francisco housing market has now become, it's now the antithesis, right? Where Oakland and the surrounding neighborhoods, they're the ones that are getting bid up. We're seeing 10, 20, 30 offers. And now people are going over to San Francisco. So we're seeing the script flip. That could continue to play out maybe for the next 6 months, 12 months, 18 months. Let's pay attention, because I do believe that we will see a slowing in demand. Not necessarily, like, let's forget about inventory, but let's just talk about demand real quick. We will see a slowing in demand a little bit. I'm not saying like a lot, but like a decent amount of buyers will go back into, there will be an influx of those buyers into the San Francisco housing market once we start to see that work from home come to an end for companies, whether that be later in 2021, early 2022, but at some point, I do expect that to happen. That will be the one drawback, I would say, of that happening. So East Bay sellers right now, sell while the time is good, because you don't know when that's going to happen and what kind of effect it's going to have on your home, especially if you have a condo or a townhome, because that kind of housing is very similar to what's available in San Francisco. That's an urban style feel housing. If you have a single family home, you're probably a little bit protected from that, but still, I would say that right now you're starting to see the tides, you're starting to see the shift right? And so if you see the trends and you're smart, you pay attention to that and you say, listen, right now, the market is still incredibly good in the East Bay. We don't know how much longer that's going to last because at some point, some of those pending sales are going to trickle on over to the San Francisco housing market. Now, if you're a home buyer and you're wondering how you're going to compete in this incredibly crazy market, you can check out this video right here, which is our exclusive guide on how to buy a home in 2021. Once again, everyone, this is Danny Gould with the Selling Silicon Valley Group, and I will catch all of you in the next video.